Right, so I've recovered from the incident with the screwdriver. So we now have the knife. So the lockpick did not set it off. Might just be the RNG. Just got lucky. The screwdriver did set it off. Let's try the hunting knife now and see. But that's why I'm doing this kit up in a plate carrier with a big helmet on, because I would like to live through this experience if I can at all help it. And it definitely takes the same amount of time. None of them are quicker than the others. So let's see. Are we going to go boom? We are going to go boom. So far, the lockpick has been the only one that has done it without going boom. Um, I don't know how much spares I've got. I'm going to go and have a look at the I'm gonna go and have a look at my supplies and see how many I've got, because I want to just double check. Was I lucky the first time with a lockpick, or is my advice don't try and disarm a claymore with anything but a lockpick? So go and have a look in a sec. Right, so my health is recovered, and I'm back here with my claymore, and I am back here with my lockpick. Because you remember the first time we used the lockpick, it did not go off, and we recovered it successfully. We tried with the screwdriver, it went off. We tried with the knife, and it went off. So we're going to try one more time with the lockpick to determine that it wasn't just dumb luck the first time, and maybe that the safest way to defuse a claymore is only with the lockpick. So we will give it a try. Let's see. It's still very slow. I'm amazed it's not like electrical repair kit. That might, I could see how that would make some sense, but anyway, there you go, lockpick. All right, here we go. Yeah, there we go. So I think I'm going to take that as almost definitive evidence that if you want to defuse a claymore, I suggest that you only do it with the lockpick. Right, so let's have a look at the landmine, which is an anti-personnel mine providing a nasty surprise for anyone unlucky enough to step on it. And I've stepped on a couple of these and they're instantly fatal. But they do stand out a bit. So we have here the landmine in my hand. And down there it says R2, choose placement. It's like everything else. You see the little shape of it and everything else. So R2 is deploy. You hold R2. We set it in place. The ticking is the warning that it gives you some time to get away from it before it becomes entirely active. But now it is fully active. If I were to walk over that right now, it would go boom and it would make a nasty, nasty mess. I can tell you that for absolute sure. And I got a couple of other things to try with these and some other stuff shortly. But for now, what we want to talk about is once this is set, and it is set right here, and I'm really careful, I don't want to get too close to it, is can it be disarmed, you say? We've obviously had some experience with claymores, and it says that you can with the lockpick. Now, we had some success with the lockpick on the claymores and a little bit less success with the other things. I will say that it also says disarm with the knife and also says disarm with the screwdriver. But I'm kind of reluctant to do that just right now, but there is every chance that we will have to try it just to be sure. We're going to give it a try with the lockpick, and we're going to see how we go and whether or not we're going to be respawning to the coast if we try mucking around with landmines. It is a bit of a slow process. I'd say it's probably about the same as the claymore. I don't think it's going particularly fast, to be sure. And here we go. Devil's in the detail. There you go. Got it. Not only have we got it, it's taken a bit of damage, but it's usable. So with the lockpick, we've got it. We can put it up. We can put it back down again. We can deploy it. Now, can we do the same with the screwdriver? Right, it's going through its ticking process. Right, screwdriver, landmine. Let's see. It does. It does indeed. The screwdriver works on the landmine. This one is in badly damaged condition though. So I'm not going to try with the knife on a badly damaged one because I have a feeling that it will almost certainly go off. So I'm going to store this and get one that's in a better condition. I can use this badly damaged one for something else. So I'll be right back. It's ticking away. I've just set it. You got the knife. Got the hunting knife. I don't think it matters which knife. So, third time's the charm. Let's give it a try. So we know that lockpicks absolutely work for landmines. We know that screwdrivers absolutely work for landmines. I've heard a rumor that knives also work for landmines. Let's see if that rumor is true or not. Oh, it is. It is indeed. It is indeed. We have got ourselves a landmine. And this one did not go down a damage level when I did that, which is very interesting. So there you go. Once you place these suckers, you can disarm them with just a knife, if you can see it, or a screwdriver, or a lockpick. And we'll be having a look at some other possible uses of landmines shortly. Right, welcome back. So, landmines. I mean, obviously landmines are awesome. And this grass is now rendered in. It takes a while for it to render, but it's actually, if you have a look in the long grass, this is actually very well hidden. I know it's here, and I can just about see it when I get close to it. So if you're planning on booby trapping somewhere and you find some lovely tufted long grass, maybe even under a bush or something, although, you know, how close will people get to this bush to walk into this bush? Whatever the story is, think about concealment. So then the question is, well, is there any other way to conceal a landmine? Could you conceal a landmine by putting something on top of it, for example? Well, I have here a tent. This could be any tent, but this is in particular a large military tent. Now, I have built this tent on this location before, but with the landmine there, it will not let me place it, which is a shame, because what would be better than booby trapping a tent? But you cannot booby trap a tent like this. You might be able to booby trap a tent with tripwires or in some other way. A remote detonator, for example, if you're watching it. But in terms of landmines and tents, you cannot put a tent on top of an active landmine. Then is the inverse true? If we already have a tent, is it possible to put a landmine inside a tent? This tent has grass in it. And the answer is no, you can't. It won't let you place an active landmine actually inside the tent, but it will let you place it immediately in front of the tent. So I could put a landmine here or here, but I can't. I can't. That's about as close as I can get. So what is that? It's equivalent of like 10 centimeters. So you can get sort of within 10 centimeters of the opening of the tent, but you cannot actually get it into the tent. So the question is, can you then hide this landmine in any other way with any other object? Well, let's try a couple of things and find out, shall we? So then, is it possible to put something that we could just drop on a landmine, like this bag? What could be more appealing in terms of booby trap than a little bag? People come up, maybe they see the bag, maybe they don't, maybe they run past the bag, maybe they walk on top of the bag, and as a result, go bang. The intention here is to try and do this, I think, kind of quickly, but we're going to see, because I don't exactly know if putting a bag on landmine is going to cause it to go off. So we're going to try and see how well this goes, because we do have a set period of time when... Oh, missed. Oh, still missed. Oh, close though. I wonder if dropping the bag on it is going to cause it to go off. I can't get the bag to drop exactly where I want it to drop without getting dangerously close to this landmine. It's, you know, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's very, very hidden. I think you'll say that that is very, very hidden. Because the other thing that I was going to say is, what if this was immediately in front of a tent? So if we put a tent right here, and I'll go and do that. Bear with me, I'll be back in a sec. Right, well there we go. Well, I had to monkey around a bit to get the tent to actually come in. There seems to be like an area just, this is, what is this? I think this is like a half meter. Maybe more, maybe 750, something like that, between the tent and the mine. I can't get any closer. But I would say you would probably find that if most people were here and they ran across this situation and there was a tent and a bag just sitting on the ground outside the tent, they might run up and they might, oh, you can see the mine sitting on the ground when they open the inventory. That's the big downside for that. If they come running in, fine. They just come running in. But if they run up here and they go, oh, a bag, and they want to look at what's in it, they'll see a landmine and go, wait, what? And it says that it's there, but I can't pick it up. No surprise. You go, wait, what's that? Why is there a landmine there? So it's a bit of a shame that you can see it and it's not less visible, but it's a possibility. Maybe it's a possibility you can get a little bit closer by putting the landmine. Like I said, you can get it probably within 50 centimeters and then put the bag on top of it. But yeah, I think that might be your best bet at a booby trap. And I'm sure lots of you have really good ideas where to put landmines on tops of booby traps and various other bits and pieces. It's well worth trying. If you do have a lockpick, that's fine. You can monkey around, test stuff and everything else. Just do be careful how close you get to these things. They do have a tendency to go boom. Right, so we've had a look at claymores and we've had a look at landmines. So let's have a look at the plastic explosive, which is an industrial explosive. So just to recap on what I previously said about this. So placement is the same and deploy is the same. Use R2, you set it up, put it down on the ground. This is actually nothing of a thing. So I suppose let's say we choose to drop it. Does it matter if you drop it, for example? Can you still arm it if you've dropped it? Does it have to be deployed? It does not have to be deployed. So you don't even have to go through all that. You could just walk up and drop it on the ground. So put it in my hands, walk up, drop it on the ground. There it is. It is where it is. I mean, I suppose if you want to put it up close against the wall, etc. You have to have the remote detonation unit. And the remote detonation unit, as you can see, there is two things, not one. Sometimes you'll find them and they'll only be the receiver or they'll be the trigger. They're no good to you. You have to have both. And when you have both, it says arm explosive. So you arm the explosive. So this you do have to do. No choice. So now that it's ready to go, it is ready to go. We've got the detonator. It cannot be moved. You cannot shift it, and it won't go off. It's not triggered by anything except but remote detonation. So it sits there, but you can't pick it up. You can't move it. You can't do anything with it. So we have our remote detonation unit. If we wanted to disarm it, we can disarm it with the remote detonation unit, exactly the same as you do with the claymore. It's true, but we also have the option of using either the lockpick, the screwdriver, or the knife to disarm. Based on our previous experiences, we're going to start with the lockpick. I would say, once again, it takes roughly the same amount of time, which is, I don't know, it's probably about 15 seconds. Let's see how successful this is. There you go. And the same problem you have with the claymore. It's great, it's disarmed, but it is now totally ruined and you cannot use it again. So that's the end of that one. Let's go get another one. Right, we're back. So I've already set up another one. I've set up, this is the remote detonation unit. So here you go. We can disarm it if we want. We're going to give it a try to disarm this time with the screwdriver. About the same speed. Now this doesn't have an area effect, so if it goes off it's going to be nasty. No, doesn't go off, but it is ruined. Right, so we're going to do the last one with the knife. Right, so set it up again, and I have the knife in my hand. Last try. Let's give it a go. If it is like the landmine, and I suppose there's No reason to suspect that it's not at this stage, otherwise I'd probably be dead. This should be fine. Yes, it is. Now then, one of the other things I noticed is where it says plastic explosive, and you've got the plastic explosive and you've got the plastic explosive unit. Take the detonator receiver unit into your hand. Oh no, the plastic explosive is ruined. The last time I did this plastic explosive was not ruined. So that's very interesting. The last time I did it, the plastic explosive was in fine condition. So I'm not sure if that's an RNG thing or not. Don't quite have enough receivers and plastic explosive to check that out right now, but it might be something I come back and revisit later. So there you are. You can also disarm the plastic explosive with the lockpick, the screwdriver, and the knife. Right. We have briefly talked about this, but let's talk about this a little bit more. This is the plastic explosive, and the plastic explosive requires to be paired with the remote detonation unit, as we have talked about before. The question is, how many of these does it take to take out one of these two walls? So now the thing is, with the claymore, and I haven't done it because I don't have enough claymores, but in case you do not know, you can stack claymores, so you can put a whole bunch of claymores next to each other and they will all go off if one of them goes off. That is my understanding. Plastic explosives don't work the same, and I'll show you how they don't work the same. So we'll put down 2, right? So we'll say 2 explosives. So we're going to arm one. I'm going to arm this one, and I'm assuming the arming distance is the same. So we're just going to go and check that. So there you go. So we've got one armed. We've got a remote detonator in our hand. We're going to run all the way over here out to about 100 meters, because I do believe that that's the distance for the remote detonation unit, which is somewhere around about here-ish. Further? Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, there we go. Where's our rangefinder? Measure the distance. Yep, 100 meters. So 100 meters is the range. This is the active one. You can see it's got the little red light on it. Right? Alright, there we go. Look at that. Did you see all that smoke go that way? Wow. Flying shrapnel. Look at that. One took out the wall. I think, wow. That was pretty impressive. But this one is ruined. So that's the deal, is you cannot stack plastic explosives. I think the second one is going to obliterate the slot. So let's take another one. We'll put it here. Put it next to all this junk. We're going to arm it. Yeah, I do believe this is the most powerful explosive in the game, which is quite a surprise. We're going to retire to a very safe distance. Such as behind this concrete thing. Yeah, look at that. 2 plastic explosives is enough to get your way into most bases. We're left with nothing but spindles out here. Nothing but spindles. All of this stuff is now ruined. The barbed wire, which is sitting on the ground, is now ruined. I think this stuff is attached to the fences, so that's different. So there you go. You cannot stack plastic explosives, but my word, they are pretty effective stuff. I suppose the only other question that we potentially have is, could a grenade set off plastic explosives? No, I don't think it would. I don't think that's going to be the case. So yeah, that's it for plastic explosives. Really, there's one more use for plastic explosives, and we'll get to that shortly. we've talked about grenades, and we've talked about throwing grenades in terms of throwing them at people, groups of people, at groups of infected, whatever the situation might be, throwing them into houses, throwing them off rooftops, throwing them into jungles, or lobbing them into bases. Whatever you desire. We've also talked about tripwire traps attached to grenades, and the various kinds of grenades that you could attach a tripwire to. But what you want to know is how many grenades does it take to blow up a base, right? Because that's what everybody wants to know, and how that kind of works. Well, let's cover a few things about grenades, and I have here a ton of grenades to give that a try based on my experience and some numbers that people are talking about online, such as Wobo and Nitno and so on. Grenades can be stacked together. So you can drop a grenade here and drop another grenade live, run away, or you can throw a grenade into it from a distance if you feel particularly super about doing that. And the grenade will go off, and all of the other grenades will go off, and you will get yourself an almighty explosion. So in that way, you can stack the explosive force of a multitude of grenades up against a wall, and then you only need to blow it the once. You don't need to throw one grenade and wait, and throw another grenade and wait, and throw another grenade and wait, which might alert people to what you're doing, right? You would think. So that's certainly a possibility. So you can do that with grenades. However, there are limits to this. And if we end up getting out of this with enough grenades, I'll show you. You cannot stack flash grenades. So if you put a whole bunch of flash grenades and you drop one, then the one goes off. It doesn't cause the same amount of damage, so it doesn't damage the others, and the rest doesn't go off. If you have a whole load of these grenades, which are frag grenades down here, and you drop a flashbang, it will not set off those grenades because it doesn't cause that type of damage. If you have flash grenades on the ground and you drop a frag grenade, the flash grenades will go off because the frag grenade does do that kind of damage. So that's just a little something that you need to know about stacking grenades. So we have here a bunch of grenades, and we have here our recently repaired little section of walls and everything else that we're going to try this about. So we're going to stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to start with 10, right? It looks like there's 1, but there's 10. And they're close enough. And, ooh, tree in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my rangefinder. I'm just going to check my distance, and we're going to stand back and lob a grenade at it. Cut down the offending tree so that we can see what's going on. And I'm out past 20 meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpin this grenade I've got. I'm going to double tap square. We're going to give it a hefty throw. Maybe just retire. Wow, that made a mess. Whoa, look at that. 10 grenades, and we have completely obliterated the base. Woo! That took everything. That took all the walls. That took the whole shebang and shaboodle. Whew. I didn't honestly think it was going to be 10. I tried it a while back, and I feel like I needed more than 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild this, and we'll go back and do slightly less than 10 and see how we can get up to an accurate and reliable number. Right, as you can see, we have everything rebuilt. So I'm starting here with 3, I thought. So I'll start at 3. We'll take the one that's thrown, obviously. That'll be 4. So we'll start with 4. We'll go back here till we get to, let's see, a little bit further. About there. Right? 20 meters. Okay. So we're at 20 meters. We've got 3 in there and 1 that's going to be thrown. Double click square. Throw it. We'll retire a little bit. Okay. Not quite 4. Alrighty, there's a bit of damage going on, so okay, not quite 4. Let's retire again. Let's see how far we are. Right, not quite 4. How about 5? No, I don't think so. 6? No. 7? Oh, 7's done a little something. 8? Nine? Back to 10? Well, and that's interesting. So there you go. 10 together do more than 10 singly. So all lumped together, you get what you would call a synergistic explosive effect, I guess. That's 11. This is going to be me out at 12. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was around about 12. But it looks like putting it all together in 10 really knocked it out. Interesting that it knocked the metal off one side, but didn't knock it off the other. So there you go. That's grenades, and that's what it does against wood, obviously. So this was wood. There's some metal here. Some of this metal is gone. So I guess what it would be good to know would be how much extra does it take against metal. I don't think I have that amount of grenades left. I'll go have a look, and if I do, great. If not, the answer is more, more than that, or not. But you know, we didn't get through this, so a full metal wall. You might need a few more grenades. Right, we're back. So I've rebuilt it, and man, I'm running out of metal sheets. There are 10 grenades here. There we go. There's a mixture of 10 grenades, mostly the eastern type. I've got some of the western type. So we've got 10 grenades there, plus there's going to be one thrown. So while I said it was 10 grenades for the wall, it was actually 11, wasn't it? Because I obviously threw one. So let's see. Does a metal wall stand up better than a wooden wall? Let's see. It does. Look at that. Look at that. The wooden wall. Well, we lost some of the wooden wall, but not all of it. So let's try one more. Let's see. There you go. One more grenade. Although, to be fair, it took out these side walls as well. So, is there more durability? I think there is more durability to the metal walls. So yeah. So there you go. So 10, 11 grenades to take down a timber wall. You might need 12, 13 to take down a metal wall. So there's a little bit extra. So that is pretty much all things grenades. We'll be using grenades for a couple of things because there's a couple of questions that have to be asked and answered at the end. We'll go over a couple of those things at the end. But that's it for grenades. Before we wrap up grenades, I just wanted to check something. So I have in my hand here a flashbang grenade. Now we threw a flashbang grenade at one time, and it took a wall out, which surprised me a little bit because I'm not convinced of the type of damage it does. So I'm just going to try. We have here the wall has been reconstructed, just this wall for now. And we're gonna throw some flashbangs out and see if we can change its condition state. Oh, took a little bit of damage there. And as you know, you cannot use a flashbang to set off another flashbang. So I have to do it one at a time. You can't stack these like you can with the frag grenade. There's two. Let's try 5. Sometimes the throw's a bit twitchy. 4. Right. So that should have changed. If it was going to change the condition, it would have changed it. No, it hasn't changed it a bean, which is very interesting, because wait, didn't there used to be a wall there? There used to be a frame here. So this frame has gone, but the wall hasn't. Let's try 5 more. Let's try 5 more. That's not one of them. Right, let's check this out and see. No, it hasn't changed the condition state of the wooden wall. That's a good number of flashbangs. So interesting. I think the flashbang may affect the frame, but not the wooden wall. Let me know. There may be some further experimentation on that one, but very, very interesting. Right. Well, we are finished with grenades. However, there's the gas canister. Remember I said about gas canisters at the beginning? The gas canisters also go boom, and they do go boom as soon as they get to a ruined condition. But how does one get them to a ruined condition? How much damage they do, look, I don't honestly know, and I don't know if there's any way that as a console operator I'd be able to find out from this. Let's say they help, but they're not as good as a grenade. Half a grenade, let's say they're half a grenade. I don't know, they might not be as good as that. If someone has a definitive one, let me know. I would need to do a lot more experimentation, which would be beyond this episode, to be able to sort that out. But I had a thought. Would a flashbang set off one of these? Shall we find out? Should we see if see if a flashbang will set it off? Ow! I think the answer to that is yes, it did. Did it? It did. See, it's ruined now. So it actually went off. So you can set these off with a flashbang. I was going to test if you can set it off with a grenade, but obviously if you can set it off with a flashbang, you can set it off with regular frag grenades. So there you go, gas canisters, and I got hit. I took a little bit of damage. Now I don't know whether that was damage from the flashbang or damage from the actual canister, but it's pretty useful if you're out of grenades or you want to bolster your grenades. There you go, the large gas canister. That was the large one. Presumably the small one's slightly less. Don't know. Right. Before we end things with claymores, I have obviously one thing with claymores, which is I have a claymore here. It's active. You can see it's active. It's got the little red light on the side of it, so that's pretty good. I have the detonator, but would a grenade set off a claymore? Which is a very good question. I'm going to unpin this and run. that's the way to do this, and we'll see if this claymore goes off. I would say the answer to that is yes. That looks like a very big cloud. Yes, no claymore. So yes, a grenade will set off a claymore. So that's pretty much all things claymores, except I've got just one last thing to say about using claymores. Right, well, up until now, I have talked about the kinds of explosives that you find all over the map that are naturally occurring, I guess. They're usable in and of themselves. Let's put it like that. But here, you can see I have an improvised explosive and the protective case. So how do you do that? Well, you see, you wondered what this protective case was for. If you have a protective case and you go to the electrical repair kit, you get the option to combine. It says craft improvised explosive. And after a little bit of magic wizardry, you get this thing, which is an IED. It does use up the whole of the electrical repair kit, and you end up with this all these wires and things sticking out of the top of it. Now, if you have a look, you'll see that it has two slots. In one, I have placed plastic explosive, but you could use claymore, and you have another slot. So what could you possibly use that slot for? This is the one I'm talking about. Well, you can attach a landmine, give it a little bit more oomph, should you wish to do so. The landmine won't go off. You can't arm it. It's just, once it becomes ruined, it's going to go bang. You could do it with a canister. You can't add it here, but you can add it there. Oh, no, you can't. Oh, there's a surprise. Thought you could. You can definitely add a smoke grenade. That's not a problem. So when the smoke grenade gets ruined, it goes off. You can definitely add a flashbang grenade. So it can go off. And you can add those grenades by hand as well. So it gives you the option to attach. Just like that. You could obviously add a frag grenade. Got a frag grenade here. You can obviously add that. Again, it's only going to go off when it goes ruined, but it gives you that additional extra. Or you could add in something like a smoke grenade, but again, doesn't give you the option to add it by hand, but you can drop this in manually. And in particular, this one, the pox grenade. That would probably be very, very good. What we'll do is I will show you how it works with the smoke grenade, so you get an opportunity to see that it does indeed work. And of course, to detonate this, you are going to need your remote detonation unit. Now, I'm not going to detonate this here. We're going to take it down to the end of the road, because the issue with this IED, which is the same as the issue with the claymore and also with the plastic explosive, is once it is armed, you will not be able to pick it up and move it. So if we arm it now, it's got the plastic in there, it's got the smoke in there. So there we go, plastic and smoke, that's all fine. We're going to retire to a safe distance back here. And this is probably safe enough, and we can see that we've got signal. We see our passing vehicle. Take out its tires, pox grenade goes off, while everyone's concussed and thinking about what's happening, they're suddenly covered in pox. That would be nasty, wouldn't it? So there you go. That is the IED. Use it at your leisure. Use it how you see fit. I suppose the question is, if we do put this down and we add something to it. Let's say we are going to add. What would we add to this? Kind of hard because I don't have any more claymores. Would a grenade set it off? I don't honestly know because I'd have to add a grenade and drop a grenade. Would that make the grenade go off? Let me see. Right, so I have added a landmine and a grenade to the IED, and I have a grenade in my hand. So the question is, will a grenade going off next to this IED be sufficient to trigger the explosives inside? Let's find out, shall we? Well, I think it did. The explosives are gone and the IED is ruined. So I think it's fair to say that an explosive going off next to the IED will destroy it and therefore set it off. So there you go. IED for all things remote detonation. Reason that you might make an IED as opposed to just using a whatchamacallit, an explosive or a claymore. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I'm sure you people can come up with something. Maybe it's less obvious because it's a yellow protector case, but it's got a very obvious top to it, and I don't know how. Maybe you can hide it or something, or you could put it amongst other things. Drop some junk on the ground. Place some stuff around it, near it, on top of it. But you could do that with a claymore as well, or some C4. So I don't know. There it is. Anyway, it's not up to me to determine the best way to use it. It's up to you people to determine the best way to use it. So there you go. So that is the IED. Now there was one thing that I said I was going to check for you, and that is whether a vehicle would set off the landmine. So I have here my Olga, which has decided that it will sacrifice itself for the good of the cause. We're going to put this immediately below the passenger side wheel. The intention being that that will put the most amount of distance between me as the driver and that wheel. And we're going to get in. Right, you heard it. It's armed. So we're going to start. And we're going to pull forward. Wheels are straight. Right over. Look at that. You saw it. You saw it. You saw it. It is most definitely an anti-personnel mine. It is active. It is dangerous. I'm not going to walk on top of it because it's going to go boom. But driving a car over the anti-personnel landmine will not make it explode. How about that? So, my word, aren't explosives an interesting kettle of fish? So, what have we covered today? Gosh, we have covered an awful lot, I can tell you. We have covered grenades. There are two different types, although there's only one here. And we have covered how you can throw grenades, how you can stack grenades to raid bases, how you can set them up on tripwires, and how you can use them to set off other types of explosive devices, and vice versa. We have covered landmines and where you can put landmines and how you can arm landmines and how you can set landmines off, including not being able to set an anti-personnel mine off with a vehicle. We have covered the M79 and firing the high explosive round that it fires, and it also fires the three types of smoke rounds: the white, the black and the red. I've also shown you that there is a pox grenade, although I haven't used it, but it's the same principle as the smoke grenades which you've seen. We have covered the use of the smoke grenades. There are two types, although only one is pictured here. This one comes in a variety of different colors, which it says on the actual grenade. This one says green, for example. So we have covered the use of those smoke grenades and how you can use those and set those up with tripwires and use them as supplementals on IEDs and so on and so forth. We have covered flashbangs and the use of flashbangs and what they do to you, and using them on tripwires and various other bits and pieces, and you could use them again as a supplemental in IEDs, and how when a flashbang becomes damaged it will go off. You cannot use a flashbang to set off a grenade or other explosive or raid bases, because it does not do the same kind of damage. We have covered, although very briefly, the use of canisters because they do explode. You might be able to supplement your shortage of grenades with those if you find them lying around. We have covered claymores, which are not pictured here, but we did cover claymores, and we did cover how to set them and arm them, and that the range of the detonation unit is 100 meters, and that, again, once placed, you cannot pick them up and move them, that they can be stacked, and that they can be set off by using another explosive, like a grenade, for example. And their cone of influence, and that it probably is only going to take a couple of claymores to get through a base, which is pretty good. 2 or 3, maybe 4 maximum. We have covered the plastic explosive, and again, all of the things that it does. And the fact that you only need 2 of these to get into a base, but you cannot stack plastic explosives. They have to be individually armed and individually detonated. And again, the distance on the remote detonation unit is 100 meters. We have also covered the IED and how you might use the IED, specifically with the remote detonation unit. So it would have to be the claymore, or it would have to be the plastic explosive device, and that you use those at the range of 100 meters, but you can supplement it because there are 2 explosive slots in there. You could supplement it with another explosive type, or a smoke grenade, or a pox grenade, or a flashbang grenade, or whatever else you saw fit that you find would be of use with that. We also covered how to use the remote detonation unit and how to set it, and that you need both pieces. So you can see that you need the set consisting of the detonator and the receiver. If you just have the detonator or you just have the receiver, it ain't going to be any use to you. And we covered how to disarm things or not disarm things, as the case may be, with the lockpick, the screwdriver, and or the knife, and the condition state of the explosive when you have or have not disarmed it, because it has gone off. And I've also kind of loosely covered the fact that it is a very good idea, if you are indeed going to be doing this, that you dress somewhat similar to how I have dressed, because there has been, certainly when I was trying to disarm claymores and not doing a particularly great job of it, that having the plate carrier and having the assault helmet and visor certainly saved me from a considerable amount of damage. I think overall, if you're getting involved with explosives, the plate carrier and the assault helmet will certainly help you survive the encounter. As I said, depending on the explosive or the intensity, you may find yourself with a broken limb, which you may need to repair, but by and large, my advice would be dress like a bomb disposal expert, because they dress like that for a reason. So there you go. That is all things explosives. Have I answered 100% of all of the questions that you may possibly come up with? No, I haven't, and I don't intend to. Part of this is to give you a technical dive into how to use explosives so you're not afraid of them, and you can think of some ingenious ways to use them, but it's not up to me to tell you all of the ingenious ways that you could use them. I will leave that up to you. This has been a bit of a monumental and mammoth effort to make, I don't mind saying. Please, 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 if you have survived to this far into it, you absolutely must drop a like for myself and Mr. C Money, who was my able assistant and managed to get all this stuff together and courageously volunteered to set off the flashbang. And please subscribe to the channel. It does help me a lot. It does encourage me to produce more things like this. And I will see you all again in the real soon. Ta-ta for now. PlayStation